Hi everyone, welcome to another Linfield Coaches CatChat. Joe Stewart here with head men's soccer coach Andy Duvall. Wildcats just going 2-0 this last week. First time that you guys have been able to go 2-0 this past season. And I gotta imagine confidence has got to be a bit higher after a little bit of a rough stretch there, but some impressive wins here at home this last week.
Yeah, I think, with this bunch, I hesitate to say that they haven't been confident this year. Obviously, going with 2 wins in a row for the first time in the season is a big deal, and yeah, that can probably boost your confidence. But I don't know that our guys haven't been confident this year, and I think some of the results may lead people outside of our program to think that maybe there was a lacking in confidence. But I know they feel good about the wins, of course. There's definitely a feel-good factor now after getting a couple of wins over the course of a weekend. But I think we have a pretty confident bunch, and I think they've been that way for most of the season. So maybe it gave them a little bit of a boost, but I don't think it's significant.
So the 4-3 win over the reigning conference champions, Willamette, and then, of course, on Saturday, the 2-0 win over George Fox, and that rivalry game is always an intense match. But what have you liked from these past 2 matches that maybe wasn't showing up through the last couple of weeks before?
Goals. It came down to goals. And that was the conversation leading into the second half of conference play. And that's what's undone us. I think I want to say that coming into the second half of conference play, so opening with playing Willamette here last Wednesday, I think we scored 8 goals but conceded 13 or something in the first half of conference play. And the goals conceded was around the same as basically everybody else in 5th, 5th, 4th, and maybe even 3rd in conference. So the big difference between us and the schools that are above us in the table up through 3rd place was goals scored. And we just weren't getting that, So we weren't getting the ball into the penalty area as often as we needed to be. Our decision-making up in the final third wasn't as aggressive as it needed to be throughout those first 8 games, and we were constantly working on it and trying to get our guys in positions where they could serve good balls, get good combinations in the center of the field, play wide play depending on who it is that we're playing, and it just wasn't coming off. And so finally, in the game against Willamette, we were able to put some good things together in the final 35 yards, and then we did much of the same against George Fox, and so it really just came down to putting the ball in the back of the net.
And Sid Caceres was a big part of that, of course, as we expected him to be coming into this season,
Right.
one of the top attackers in the conference last year. No secret that he was a little bit up and down in terms of production this year, but then 3 goals in 2 matches. He looked like the finisher we all know he can be. What were you liking out of his approach?
Yeah, it's been interesting with Sid because last year when we moved him into the striker role, we really needed somebody with his ability up there who was going to give center backs a more difficult time, but also be able to come into midfield and get the ball more regularly than the players that we were playing up there. And with the evolvement of how it is that we've been able to create our style of play, early in the year, and I'll give credit to my assistant Alex Ponce on this, it became obvious to him, not as obvious to me, that Sid really was, the way that he plays the game was actually becoming a challenge for us to play him up top because we didn't have as much of a presence between the opponent's center backs because of Sid's instincts to want to come and get the ball as opposed to play higher and stretch opponents vertically. So when we pulled Sid back into midfield and he gets 3 goals out of it, obviously that's not, coaches don't get credit for that. Sid gets credit for that because he didn't change the way that he played. He's just a little bit closer to the ball and a little bit further from the goal he's trying to score on, which gave him the time and space to be able to do what he's good at. So he gets 3 goals out of the weekend, could have had more, and I think I want to go back and look because I think he took 9 shots against Willamette, which, he found form in that game. And so I think a big part of it was just being able to find the pockets of space that he's really good in and being able to find opportunities at the distance and angles of goal that he's capable of being dangerous in. So it was a really good week for Sid, and with 3 goals and an assist, I think he definitely was the best player in the conference in the attacking side of things this week.
EJ Sablon, as just a freshman, has been a big contributor, especially in those couple of wins. What do you envision for him going forward as he just continues to get better?
More of the same, hopefully, goals and assists. I think EJ, he was out for 2 weeks earlier in the year because he was on international duty with Guam, and when he came back, he had to find his way into the team, so it wasn't going to be a situation for him where he was just going to come back and automatically get given opportunities when other guys were here and were putting in time and trying to dedicate themselves to what we were doing. And so credit to EJ, he was patient and gave us everything that he could when he was getting moments on the field throughout each game that he was working his way back into the team. And yeah, he came back in a big way here over the week and was able to, like you said, I think he got 2 goals and 2 assists over the week, playing in a position that he has a lot of really good characteristics for. He's learning the defensive side of the game at the college level, which is just a lot quicker and harder than what he's experienced so far, but he's gaining discipline there and being able to give the team everything that he can in all 3 phases of the game. So I think going forward, we just expect more of the same, but also continued growth.
And you mentioned, him having to take a couple weeks off to play with the Guam national squad there, or the unders squad. And with a guy like that has been training at a high level, does it make it easier when he has to take time off and come back in, especially as just a freshman? How does it change things with guys who have been through those higher levels of development systems when they get to the college level?
I don't think it makes it any easier. He still has to fit within our team. I think where you can be good where you're at, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be good at a new place, So, I mean, you see this all the time in professional ranks, guys that are in the sport of soccer. When guys are bought instead of traded, they're bought and sent to different teams. They have a period of adjustment and they struggle. It doesn't matter if they were the best player in the world at that time. If they move to another league, play for another team, they've got to get accustomed to the way the new team plays, the way that opponents play against them. And so, no, I don't think it's great that EJ has trained at the level that he's had and played at the level that he's played at, but he still has to find his own form within this environment. It doesn't make it a guarantee that because he's good somewhere else that he'll be good here.
Sure. Defensively, obviously the clean sheet against George Fox on Saturday. And Willamette, I mean, that's a great club. They're going to be able to find their opportunities, but there were plenty of stretches when it seemed like they were awfully contained and struggling to move the attack forward. What'd you like defensively at these last couple matches? Yeah,
I think, our guys are, again, I think they're a confident bunch, and I think they know they can match up with anybody in the league. And so athleticism-wise, speed-wise, just overall ability-wise, I don't think anybody is significantly better than we are. So just maintaining their discipline as they play is really what's been key for these guys, and that's been a kind of a theme all year, is just making sure that we are disciplined in everything that we do and don't play too wide open, don't play too loose, take advantage of opportunities when we're given them to be on the attack and in transition, but when we're defending, to make sure that we are holding each other accountable to each individual's role. And so that's, for our guys, that's what they've had to really be good at, is just be good in their individual one-on-one situations and take pride in that. And they've gained a lot of perspective in those areas, and they're not afraid of anybody. So it's been fun to watch them grow in that realm.
Looking ahead to this weekend, hosting Lewis and Clark on Saturday to wrap up the homestand, and then at PLU on Sunday. Tough turnaround there. Obviously, Lewis and Clark, a first-year program that you guys were able to handle pretty easily for your first conference win of the year up in Portland about a month ago. And then PLU, right after, came back and played, at the time, probably the best match of the season, unable to finish anything, unfortunately. What do you want to see again against Lewis and Clark, and then how do you turn that PLU draw into potentially a win, even in a tough environment?
Yeah, well, we did finish twice against PLU. We just
Sure.
had them called back
Offside.
for what I would call very, very close calls that could have gone either way on the day. Yeah, I mean, you don't ever want to overlook anybody, and our guys aren't overlooking Lewis and Clark. It's a brand new program, and they're trying to find their way, and I won't be surprised to see Lewis and Clark get their first win this year at some point. I mean, there's 6 games left in conference play, and everybody has to be aware that it's college athletes against college athletes. Nobody has an advantage until the game is played, and so I think Lewis and Clark, we won't overlook them. They are going to come in and look for every opportunity to try and take advantage of playing a college team and getting an opportunity to win it, and so we have to respect that and be disciplined in our approach. And then, yes, the turnaround against PLU, I mean, they have to do the same. I think they play Fox on Saturday. I'm not certain, but I think that's who they play on Saturday, and they've got to turn around and then play us on Sunday. So it's, when it's 2 college teams matching up, you do the best that you can to create the best individual matchups on the field, and then let the guys go out and play. And that, one of my favorite parts about this sport versus some other sports, is that this is a player's game. And so that once the guys go on the field, there is very little impact that I'm going to have on them. And so they are looking forward to it as a group, looking forward to this weekend, to a good competition against Lewis and Clark. And they're probably not really thinking a ton about PLU. I'm sure they're thinking about them a little bit, but first game on Saturday is the most important one, and then we'll turn around and start thinking about PLU on Sunday.
Wildcats looking for their third win in a row here at home on Saturday against Lewis and Clark, 2:30 kickoff. And we'll, of course, have live coverage on the LSN. Then up to Tacoma to take on a tough PLU squad at their place on Sunday. Coach, thanks for the time. Good luck this week.
Yeah, thanks, Joe.